To go ahead and go over my mid-year check-in to see how I've been doing. I've been watching a lot of budgeting videos, and there are so many budgeting videos where you kind of write out your budget, and then also cash stuffing videos because there's just so many of them to watch on YouTube, and it's making me want to do cash budgeting and all that stuff. But I know that with a cash budgeting, when you spend, you go to Target, you want to split a transaction between maybe groceries and toiletries, and it's just so much more difficult when you have that as a cash budgeter, or at least it was to me. And I realized that the cure is just to make more YNAB videos because we need some content out here because I'm feeling very unmotivated. I want to go do the 100 envelopes challenge right now instead of. Anyway, all that to say is that I wanted to go over and make a video about all the spending I've done so far. This is my mid-year check-in. We will see where I am, where it goes. So the first thing I wanted to go over is my category or my categories. I have rent, which is $10.85 or so. Phone. The reason I have this set aside $209 is because my cousin actually pays me for her portion of her bill at the beginning of the year, and she pays me for the whole year. So since YNAB is kind of like a digital cash envelope system, it's so easy for me just to keep this money on the side. Before, when I was using the cash envelope system, I actually had the Capital One 360, or I still have Capital One 360 accounts, and I would actually put her portion in a separate savings account. And when it came down to paying the bill, I would put my portion and transfer out her portion to cover the bill. And see, that's one of the things that I like about YNAB. It just makes something like this so much easier. The next thing I have is renter's insurance, which I don't know. I guess I'm going to keep funding it, but once my lease ends in April 2023, I think I'm going to be moving back home. And so I won't have a lot of moving expenses. I am trying really hard to get transferred back to where, like a closer area to where I used to live, even though rent in the long run might be higher. This is a little bit more affordable in the area that I am right now, but I am really trying to get back home basically. And once I get back home, rent is going to be higher. I'm going to be spending more time with my loved ones, my boyfriend, going out to eat, of course. I haven't done a lot of that in the past 2 years of COVID, and we're kind of getting more into the groove of things. All that to say is I'm going to keep funding renter's insurance, but if I don't end up having to get that renter's insurance because I move at home, I might just move it down to the moving category, which I don't have a lot saved in. And of course, eventually I would want to move out of home eventually. Internet, I think, has been pretty good. I have it at $18 and it's with Spectrum. I didn't have to negotiate the amount. When I had my house, for some reason, they charged me $30. I don't know if it's just more expensive when you have a bigger place, but that's what they gave me, and I think it's pretty good for the internet. SoCal Gas and Edison stay at 25. Food, in total, it's about 250 that I'm budgeting right now, and I think that's been working out pretty well. I have extra money here in groceries, but I have been spending a lot more, and I haven't overflown in eating out so far. For transportation, I've been spending 150 or so on gasoline, and I do drive for work. I do go visit people. So I think, and then lately I've been going down to LA maybe 2 times a week. And for doing all that driving, I think it's pretty good. Taking into account the big uptick in prices there. I have AAA, which I share with me and my dad. That's halfway funded. Car registration, halfway funded as well. And car insurance is fully funded. I pay every 6 months. So every 6 months right now, my premium is $540, which I think is pretty good because it's total coverage with a $500 deductible. And then car maintenance, I have $627 with some money also in mileage reimbursement. Netflix, Spotify, and YNAB are all the same subscriptions I've been having for all this time. I've added beauty under my spending category. Most of the time, when I want to buy something in beauty, it's, like foundation or something like that. I haven't worn mascara in, again, over 2 years. And I think I'm going to leave that for now. But I have a little bit of set aside every month on beauty. And if I don't have enough there, I usually cover it with my personal miscellaneous account. And I just click this and I move it to beauty and I do it that way. And that's another thing about doing digital cash envelopes. It's a lot more flexible. You could move money in between categories, and it's so much harder to do that when you have actual cash envelopes. Um, it's not too hard because obviously you could just move money around, but it's not as exact. So if you have like $20 in beauty category, $50 in personal, and you want to move like a small amount, like $13 it's kind of gets complicated. You have to move $15. It's less exact, I would say. It's maybe not as hard, it's just less exact. And then you end up with a lot of buffer, which is not bad, but that's another thing I was thinking about. Next is Health is Gold. So I did sign up for a half marathon in November. That is fully paid. Planet Fitness is ongoing at $10 a month. It's nice to have in case of an emergency, like if I don't have time to run during the day or during safe hours, I guess. I don't know. What are safe hours? But yeah, I mainly use it when I can't run outside, and they're kind of more like an emergency use for exercise. Medical and dental has a good amount there. I have an FSA which has, I don't know, like $500 that I can use in there. Toiletries sits pretty well. I only put $10 aside every month, and it has a good buffer, or it has a good amount available at $30.93, I think. For gifts and giving, I should move my nephew up here and my parents up here. So for my niece and my nephew, I set aside a little bit to invest for them on the side. And I gotta say, they've been adding up. My nephew has, well, in his 529, there's maybe like $800 in there, not much, and then $200 in the brokerage. So that comes out to about $1,000. And I just started all this about a year ago or so, or like a year and a half. But compared to the amount that I'm putting in, I think, a little bit goes a long way. It's already combined. Those two accounts are already at $1,000. And the reason I'm not putting a lot is because I realize I'm not the parent, so I'm not financially responsible for them. But at the same time, I want to do a little bit of giving towards them. Something I never had was just a little bit of money to kickstart my college journey, and it was stressful, you guys, trying to get scholarships and working and all that stuff. At the time that I was graduating, because at the time, again, I was undocumented, so I didn't have a lot of options. He and she have a lot of options for them, but at the same time, it's like it would be like a small gift as they turn 18 that I kind of want to accumulate for them. And then my parents, they're a lot more at the forefront. I put aside $300. Right now, they have a good amount there, $1,811 with 25 cents. And $300 has really been working out. I just get from there so that I don't feel I have this big account. I think $300 is a lot of money. I have this account set aside because sometimes parents are expensive. Like, they want to go visit their family in another country. You want to foot half of the bill for them, help them out a little bit. Sometimes you want to go out to eat and spend money on them and not feel guilty about it. It's just more of a a bit, it just opens up my ability to help them out without feeling guilty about grabbing from other categories. And gifts at $100. I'm going to edit this because I have a good amount there. I was going to change it to $80 as a saving target from here on out. The next birthdays aren't until September. So August, September, I have plenty of money there for those. I have giving there, and then my investments, I've set aside for this year. I want to go ahead and put $2,000 in I bonds, and it says I'm on track to reach that target, so that's pretty good. Car replacement is just $60 into a brokerage account every month, auto deducted, which makes it pretty easy for me. And then I wanted to set aside some money for my brokerage, but brokerage, I might delete this. Yeah. I'm going to start setting aside money for my Roth IRA in 2023, actually, because I don't know what it is. I just have this fear of not being able to max out my brokerage, my Roth IRA for some reason. Like, I just want to max it out as soon as possible so that anything else that comes up during the year I could handle. And that's pretty much what I did with my Roth IRA for 2022. I maxed it out as soon as I could. I tried doing the auto investing $500 a month, slow and steady, but I just could not do it. I don't know what it is. I feel like, I don't know. I feel better dumping it all in at the beginning of the year and then being done with that. And then you have all this time. So, for example, Roth IRA 2023, I would have until April 1st, 2024 to max that out. And that just makes me feel so much better. I don't know what it is. My main goal for retirement is to max out my 457B and max out the Roth IRA. And I've done calculations where I don't have to do anything else, just those two things, and I could retire comfortably because I also have a pension, and I do rely on that pension when I do my calculations because I am a government worker. I've looked into the pension, it's well funded, and I'm comfortable with even with just maxing out my 457B and my Roth IRA, I would be fine, I think, without even the pension. But boy, does it add a layer of security that I really like. And again, just maxing out those two things, those are just have tos for me. I don't have to put in anything else to my brokerage. I don't have to do anything else. I could actually just spend the rest of the money that I make or save it for other things, vacations, things like that. And that makes me feel well. So that's why I'm kind of ignoring the brokerage for just additional investments because I don't really have to. I'd rather make sure Roth IRA 2023 is maxed out. That was a long spiel, but I hope you guys got it. So for New York, I'm planning to go in the fall to New York. I still don't know what dates. I fully funded the category, but I still want to put $100 each month from here on out because after this, I want to go to somewhere like Mexico City or Seattle on a long weekend. And I really want to another reason I want to go back home is because I really want to get my travel out of the way. So cities that I want to or hope to visit it's like Seattle, Vancouver, go back to Portland, Oregon. We really like the transportation there with the trolleys. Is very ideal. And I want to go to Mexico City, Querétaro in Mexico, just a few cities in Mexico in general. I think we were eyeing the Smoky Cabins of Tennessee as well. And then my boyfriend wants to go to Japan. I really don't want to go to Japan. I know people there are very polite, very nice, but it's like a 16-hour trip, and I hate going on planes. For the New York trip, I'm going to take my noise canceling headphones because the noise is really what kind of gets in my head, I think, of the engine and the plane. Um, but we'll see. And this is me wanting to like retire in Mexico, knowing that if I retire early in Mexico, I have to do maybe like 2, 3 trips a year to come back into the US. But it's only like to Mexico, it's only like 2, 3 hours, okay? Japan, we're talking 16 hours. Anyway, so that's how this is how these are what my categories are for the year so far. Next, I want to go into my reports. I really like the toolkit add-on. So let's go ahead and change the dates. It's going to go from January 2022 to July 2022. Right now, it's the 4th of July, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not going to end it on June. The reason is because if I change it to June, it's going to skew my average spending by quite a bit. And I don't want it to do that because I did prepay my rent for the month of July in June, so that I get fine, whatever. I'll do June. Just keep in mind that once I do my yearly wrap up, it's gonna be a little lower for my average spending because I'll encompass all my rent for the whole year. This is technically encompassing rent for 7 months instead of 6 months, again, because I prepaid the rent for July. But to make it fair, I'll report from January to June. And so most of that has been housing expenses. Under housing expenses, it's most of it has been rent and gas. $100 for the first 6 months. I think that's pretty good. SoCal Gas. Where's SoCal Edison? $148 for Edison. Electricity. $107 for the whole year for internet. $826 for phones. Pretty expensive, but I do pay for 3 lines myself. And renter's insurance is 1%, which is pretty good. Overall, happy with that. Spending $2,400. Most of that was for an iPad. Transportation at $2,148. It's nice to know that, well, I don't know. When I retire, I do want to retire in a walkable city and I don't want to be car dependent. But at the same time, I also like nature and no one being around. And most of the time, that means needing to live far away and needing a vehicle. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. AAA, 137 for this year. Car maintenance, 145. That's probably just oil changes. Car registration for this year was already due, so it's $258. Mileage reimbursement section, that was when I went to go get my real ID. Next would be food, which is pretty good, I think. An average of $228 per month, with most of that being going towards groceries. And honestly, I've stopped checking my budget when I go grocery shopping, which I know is really bad. But I feel okay with spending money or even overspending in terms of groceries when I'm buying organic spinach, when I'm buying my organic blueberries frozen, strawberries frozen, tofu, beans, rice. I mostly buy tomatoes, onions. Purple cabbage is really good. Bang for your buck because per I don't know, I heard somewhere that the amount you spend on a purple cabbage, it's very inexpensive compared to the amount of antioxidants it carries. In comparison to like buying blueberries, I guess. Purple cabbage is really good for the money and the antioxidants. And then I also buy organic ceremonial grade matcha that I like to put into my smoothies. So whenever I buy things like that, I don't feel bad and I don't really how do you call it? I don't really restrict myself with that because even though it's really nice ingredients, my meals are very simple. So it could be like rice and beans and then salsa on top, maybe some avocados. It could be bean tacos with salsa on top. So even though I really like the ingredients that I buy, my meals are simple and there's a good balance there. And I like not restricting myself, but I don't think I will. That's another thing about using cash before. I used to do cash budgeting, and um, I obviously it forces you to see what you have. With YNAB, I kind of have a little bit more flexibility to spend like that because I know if I go over, um, I could move money from my eating out category very easily into groceries or from some other category. Anyway, going on to gifts and giving, so far it's been 7%. Subscriptions 1%, which includes uh, subscriptions, Spotify, and Netflix. Whoa, Netflix is pretty expensive, $89.94. Spotify is pretty good because I listen to music and all that stuff while I run and while I drive. Netflix, the only reason I keep it is because my sister and my nephew watch it, so I keep that. Just in case was 1%. And travel, I bought a travel carry-on with wheels at the bottom because usually when we travel, I'm carrying my stuff on my arm, and I travel light, but when you're going from one place to another in public transport, I use public transportation sometimes when I travel, so it's just easier to have a carry-on with some wheels. I don't want to suffer anymore. And that's in anticipation of future traveling. Whew, that was good. So one thing I wanted to add was my transportation payroll deduction, FU money. I mean, not my transportation. Sorry, I'm scatterbrained right now. One thing I wanted to add was my investments. So compared to all my other spending, my investments take up 54%, and if I add payroll deductions, it goes down a little bit to 49%, which is not that much. So this is the whole picture. I didn't really start tracking payroll deductions until I forget when. FU money. Yeah, this one is up to date because I know 10,588 is exactly what I've put into my 457B so far. So this is good. Roth IRA 2022, it only says 4790 because I transferred some of the money in my brokerage account into the Roth, and that's how I maxed it out for 2022. So far this year, I've only put in from my actual paycheck, my actual incoming money, 4,790, and the rest again is just a transfer from a brokerage that I had. iBonds so far I put in 720. Again, my goal for this year is 2,000, and I think I will do that by setting aside $200 a month. Pension, almost $3,000 going into the pension. And if you guys don't want to count the pension, because some people don't, but I do, again, because it does play into my retirement numbers, then my percentage of what's gone into the investments or other investments has been 45%. That's crazy. So that means $2,832 average. Well, that's spending overall, I think. No, that's. Oh, wow, that's crazy. I thought that's like spending for in total, but no, it's just investments, financial independent money. Let's add on pension again because I wasn't really looking at it. will average going into future retirement or future spending, I guess, $3,331. Oh my lord. I want to cry because I've been feeling like I haven't been doing much lately. Just like with work and all that stuff, I really got burnt out, so I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. And I don't know, this shows me that it's been good so far. And if for some reason I lose my job, then it was a good run. I'm just kidding. Um, let's see what else. I think that's pretty much it. Let's go back to all the categories. Or has this been all the categories? All right, guys. So this is pretty much it. You guys can see all the numbers here for my mid-month check-in. Let me know how you guys have been doing with your spending and everything. I'm pretty happy. I mean, who could complain about putting an average $2,000 or so into your own future? I certainly can't, and I'm very thankful. And hopefully one day I can retire and sleep all day and exercise and go for walks and read. I'm not one of those people that need to do things to feel fulfilled. I'm just kidding. Well, do things like work. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'll try to figure out more ideas about videos. It's just, I need YNAB content, you guys. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Miss Cannon, for posting a video today, because now I'm posting a video. Anyway, thank you so much for all your guys' support, and I'll see you guys later.